Well, good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to Chris and Brick Business Edition, Episode 7. We have made it to the end of a work week. And a very good friend, a colleague, and a mentor of mine brought up a good point yesterday. We have a tendency to focus in on some of the sort of the red flags of what to look for what you don't want in your organization. And I know that that's probably sort of the equivalent of watching the news just to hear about all the tragedies and bad things that happen, which seems to be the things that draw people in. However, that being said, Brick and I had a conversation, and by the way, if you'll notice, Brick's sporting another really killer tie. He is trying to go a little business casual today with the hat. He did call me out on the fact that I wear a hat every day. I will go ahead and make the admittance that I'm wearing a hat every day right now because I really desperately need a haircut, and I really just don't want you guys to have to be subjected to the crazy hair look. So over this weekend, I intend to get a haircut, and you'll be able to see me look like a normal human being, I suppose, with no hat. But anyway, so Brick is looking a little BC, business casual, although he is loving the ties, so I think that's just kind of part of his look, and can't blame him for dressing it up a little bit. So anyway, the topic that we decided to focus on today, and this is, again, by no means comprehensive. It is merely a short list to give you some food for thought when you're engaging with your employees, to give you some level of an indication on whether you've really got yourself a rock star on your hands or not. These are the 5 signs that I've kind of picked out of a whole list of signs that say, you've got a great employee or a team member on your hands. So, first one. They have a tendency to volunteer for just about anything and everything. And the volunteerism is not necessarily just to get, overexposure necessarily, and or also, the other potential negative connotation is they're volunteering for things to get out of doing their work. No, this type of employee is actually volunteering to do these things to gain more experience while they're also continuing to recognize that they need to do their regular work. And that's a really nice and key attribute that you ought to look for. Number 2, they ask questions, and more importantly, they ask questions that are well thought out and engaging questions. Ones that actually sort of propel the business forward, propel the team forward. They have questions. There are questions that will help to solve problems, help to create potentially new and different solutions to approaching, day-to-day problems, etc. So look out for those good question askers, and if they ask you a question that stumps you, they probably asked a good one. They also possess this characteristic called commercial awareness, which is I think, a fancier way of saying they understand their strategic position in the organization. They understand the commercial awareness of what it is that they do and how it ties into the rest of the business. And that's a really critical component, because a lot of times when you have individual contributors, or individuals managing smaller teams, sometimes they can't see past the end of the smaller team or the individual contribution that they're giving on a daily basis. So when you can recognize that someone sees how they fit into the bigger picture, you've got yourself a high potential employee on your hands. They speak their mind. Now, this is really critical, because not only do they speak their mind, but they do it in the right way. The way that is productive. It's generally positive with its intent, and it doesn't come across in a complaining fashion at all. But it's really designed to to put their thoughts out there, and it may just be speaking out loud, but it's also to sort of get other minds thinking as well. And it kind of ties back into a little bit about the asking the really good questions, I think. But they speak their mind. They talk about what they're thinking about, and it generally will also relate to the business at hand as opposed to just someone who's like a gossip or someone like that. And lastly, since I've only picked 5 topics, and I know that there are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of characteristics of really killer employees. I mean, just great, members of our teams. But these ones are continuously on the hunt for self-improvement. They'll ask for feedback, but more importantly, not only when they ask for the feedback, they will actually start to implement some of those feedback guidances given to them. And, along with that, they generally have a pretty thick skin, meaning that they can take some constructive criticism, as long as it's given in a positive manner, in a way that's actually meant to help see them grow and succeed. Then you've got yourself, someone again who not only is genuinely trying to improve, but they are also able to take it, even if it's a little bit tough to hear at times. And so this is kind of I guess I'd call it a symbiotic relationship between manager and employee, where you both have to have that good intent in mind when you're sharing that information back and forth with one another. So again, these are 5 signs. I'm going to put them in the note section up at the top above the video. I will also include a link to our, sort of our lighter side, the Chris and Brick Personal Edition, which is really where we just cover all kinds of random topics that help get to know Brick, help get to know me a little bit more, and then in many cases just sort of random, conversation. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen and provide your feedback. I really do have to say that the outpouring of messages I've gotten from people on LinkedIn has been fantastic, and I can't thank you all enough for just being engaged with us enough to to want to see something like this continue to grow and improve over time. So thank you again. Have an absolutely grand and fabulous weekend. I hope you guys, get a chance to get a little decompression, a little break. I know that we will do the same, and looking forward to tackling some more issues on Monday. So have a nice Friday, and I hope it's a productive one. And if it's productive, I hope it's also maybe a little bit, slower, just so you can kind of wind down. But if not, hey, business is good then, and no complaints. But have a good weekend, and we will talk soon. Thank you.